I enjoyed it though.
I thought it was good.
I
However,
like this movie.
you don't.
I liked this movie.
It's a good movie.
It's
I
fucked
just said
up.
I liked it.
And what I also appreciated was like it's a window into a subculture that obviously I don't have a lot of experience with. But I thought like it was like gorgeously shot. I thought it was really interesting. Like you realize over time, like this entire movie takes place outside.
Yeah.
And on the shore of this lake, pretty much
in one place.
That is probably the coolest thing about this movie is that they do it's this 10-day span and every day is defined, which I think is really interesting too.
Wow.
Behind Chris,
that shot behind Chris is just phenomenal.
It's almost like look at
the last time he pulls in and there are no other cars there.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of neat.
And that's
like
very. I'll bring it up later, but that's very Haneke, by the way. That's very Haneke.
Yeah, it is.
A lot of this movie is very Haneke.
This is like is Hitchcock meets Haneke, dude. I'm telling you.
Well,
but unfortunately, I feel like
movie
it's
where we're gonna excuse someone's horrible behavior because he's hot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But also, I want to.
That is the usual way of movies, isn't it?
I want a brief discussion about hardcore pornography because there are two scenes in this film.
This isn't hardcore pornography.
No, don't cut me off.
Don't cut me off. I'm just a delivery guy.
There's two scenes in this film, which is a ostensible narrative, that are hardcore. Now, that's just what I mean. That means that this is just for the sex, and the story stops.
No, he wanted actual.
I read up on it too. I read up on it too.
Penetrative sex in this, and the actors wouldn't do it without a condom.
Actually, those are doubles.
Well, never mind.
There were doubles. I know. Yeah. That's how he did it.
Well, no, even the body double actors wouldn't do it without a condom, and that's why it's not actual. And like, I get it from like a production standpoint, like that's a problem, but also like if your body doubles want to use a condom, and it's not like condoms aren't part of the plot of the movie.
It does come up in the plot,
but I think it's it was part of the character because he says he doesn't want to use the condom.
Right. Yeah. Right. But again, it's like
but I hear you, Tad. I hear you.
If you're that committed to the idea, then go all the way. Like
that
my problem with this movie is all of it feels like it's in the middle. Like it all feels like it's trying to be transgressive and doesn't get there. Like and then again, the simulated sex scenes in this movie are bad. Like it's like the
What do you mean? Which ones?
Oh, so especially the two scenes where Michelle is performing oral sex on him, like Michelle's head is like 15 inches above his torso.
What about the one though?
We've seen that guy's dick, and it's not that long.
But what about the scene when the kind of portly fellow is giving him head and his legs are up? That's pretty fucking dope. That was like, holy shit, that looks real as fuck.
Also, the first one where he's walking through the woods the first time and the guys are 69ing each other.
Oh, dude, that guy, he had ass in his face. That was holy shit.
And again, like this is what I'm saying about it being in the middle. There's these couple of scenes that are like, okay, you're going there, and I appreciate that, but I don't feel like the movie itself goes there. But I want to give one quick shout out to the masturbating voyeur guy. He is the best character
actually, weirdly
in the whole movie.
He's the guy that ends up blowing him.
Yeah.
Right.
Weirdly enough, that's extremely common in cruising situations.
No, it is.
There's usually a sea of spectators like that.
And I love that guy because you see him the first time and he's just standing there and he's kind of
just
stroking
the creepy guy that watches people.
Right.
He's
standing there and he's stroking it as he walks by.
That's his thing. Yeah.
Well, he's contextualized. He's the guy who's always at the cruising places. You shoo away.
But I love. Okay, this might be a good.
There's the guy. There's the bald guy with the beard, and the first time they hook up, the guy's watching. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And he's like, "Can I just stay?" And, like,
our lead is like, "I don't really mind," but he's like, "I don't fucking want this dude around."
And then later on, when it's him and Michelle for the first time, the guy's standing there, and Michelle's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And he's like, "What? I can't watch." And he's like, "We're not fucking. We're talking. Come back later.
Come back later." Well, I think this might be a good moment to bring up.
Get the blood from him. Wait a minute, and then he says, "Okay, see you around," and they shake.
yeah. But like Chris said, this is a subculture, obviously, for that I haven't personally, but like the whole the whole notion or nature of men who I just think, okay, let's hypothetically say this was sort of a homeless or a gay cruising spot for women. It would just be completely different, I think, obviously. And
you're pointing out the gay sexual subculture. It's
well, no. What I'm saying is whether you're heterosexual or homosexual, men are the same. Meaning we are just like, we just want to fuck, we want to watch, we want to look, we want to touch, we want to touch ourselves, we want to fucking. And so these guys who are like, can I just fucking jerk off while you guys are doing that, is like, it's just such a guy fucking thing, I think.
Well, that's
and maybe people, maybe I might be wrong, maybe, I mean, there's always exceptions to the rules and there's circumstances, and I'm generalizing, but I just mean it's such a, it gave me insight into like the men in general and the culture of
right, because there's no unfettered, they don't have to keep up appearances for women, so this is how they behave.
I don't know, they're pretty appearance heavy. This is all about one hand.
No, but I agree with John. I think John just nailed it. Like, yes, it's you got to look good, you got to be tan, you got to have a six-pack, but beyond that, he's right though. It's not about like, I mean, there were moments in this movie where they're walking casually through and a guy will just like grab your fucking dick and just as he's walking by and be like, are you down? And then another guy will be like, no, I'm not down, dude. And it's like, that just doesn't have, I mean, that's just how we are, I guess, it's like,
well, it's a cruising site, so everyone assumes you're there to do one thing,
right?
Yeah.
And that's
to me, that's
like, there's two points in the movie. There's 2 points in the movie that are really good about that. One is the first time you're introduced to Henri and he's just sitting there and he's like, no, I'm actually just here to like watch, to like look at the lake. You know, like I'm not really here to hook up with anyone.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why don't you go to the other side where the families are? And he's like, no, because they're going to ask me why I'm there. And no one's going to ask me why I'm here. And then there's the other one.
He's such a great character.
Later in the movie where Frank is walking by and there's the couple that are on the towels together. And he's like, why the fuck are you talking to him? Why are you looking at him? And he's like, this is a cruising spot. And he's like, no, it's not. And he's like, well, tell me where it stops. Right over there by that tree. It's like,
that dick.
Like that. Yeah. That scene is really good because that is the like, oh, you meet someone at a cruising spot and we want to be together. So I'm not going to allow anyone.
Yeah, he had to mark his territory because he's and you're reiterating my point. He's like, I know dudes.
Right.
Get the fuck away from us.
And the other guy, and he's like,
this is mine.
And at the end, he's like, how do you know him? And he's like, I don't know him. He said hi, so I had said hi back. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like even the sexual politics of this break down at certain levels. Like
the end.
well, Chris, what do you think about that mustache, by the way? Is this more your taste here?
That was
his mustache was absurd.
Lifeguard with Sam Elliott.
Yes.
This is Tom Selleck shit right here,
baby. It is very much Tom
Selleck
shit. They went for Tom Selleck shit.
Now I mentioned melodrama earlier.
I wanted to say just for a second while before we page too far back into the conversation.
Go ahead, take it, John.
I think that Jared was saying about how men behave around other men in this milieu, right? And it's like, on the one level, it's perfectly understandable. Like the motivations of everybody is very clear, but what the result is, it's like the emergent behavior that you see is almost surreal. There's these shots where it's just trees and shrubs and these nude or semi-nude guys just wandering around like ghosts. It's very odd. It was bizarre. It's
bizarre, but extending on that to the filmmaking, we were talking about a little bit earlier how just beautiful the film looks and how it's well shot.
Yeah.
The thing about making a movie like this would be so challenging as a director and as a cinematographer. You always know where you are though here. Like you never feel like you don't know.
It's a like 500 by 500 square foot area. Everything.
Right. But I mean but so many lesser filmmakers could fuck that up and you wouldn't know where you are in relation to like
his cinematic geography was really good.
When to lock the camera down and aim it, like that entire scene where you see mustache guy drown his other lover.
Yeah,
the camera is locked.
No, hold on.
Well, it's really slowly zooming in.
Let me back up a tiny
very slowly.
About what Jared just said about the cinematography. I'm actually
who's watching it. It never cuts away to show who's watching this until the very end, and it's over.
But actually, it's more amazing than that. And how the fuck did they pull that shot off?
The guy,
They had an apparatus. I thought about that too.
Really good swimmer, and so he pushes him underwater.
You just saw
and as he does that, the guy swims off camera because he knows where the end of it is.
See, I didn't know that. I thought maybe they had like a breathing apparatus for him underneath.
The guy he comes up the last time and he takes a big breath of air, pushes him down, and immediately as he goes underwater,
because it was perfect. It was perfect.
Way off screen, yeah.
And I was watching it. I went back and rewatched it again, and I'm like, can I see him swimming off? Can I see him swimming? You cannot.
No, this is it. That is a lot of ground to cover.
I know. That's what I was thinking the entire time.
He's like they hired him because he's a star swimmer, dude.
Probably, actually, he was probably like a stunt guy,
there was like 500 or 600 feet he had to swim.
A lot of ground to cover right here.
I swear, I thought they had like an air tank at the bottom of the lake for him or something.
Again, in opposition to Jared,
I didn't have the money for that.
This one shot I thought was completely amazing, and it made the rest of the film kind of watchable. But I thought the photography was terrible.
What?
You can tell there's only a crew of 20 on this thing at any time. It's all natural.
That doesn't matter.
No, natural light, maybe 2 reflectors on it. It was all flat. I don't think there was anything remarkable about the photography. This is all.
I think scenes like this are amazing.
It fucking kills the ending because
there's so many great shots of the lake and the
lighting at the
end. This shot.
So what?
This shot's incredible.
It's awesome.
It's just daylight.
The composition,
where are his shoes?
It's just natural light and good.
The composition. No, there's so many like horizon line shots that are gorgeous in this movie.
The lack of budget and the lack of lighting kills the end of this film entirely.
You
couldn't see shit in this film.
I think that's on purpose, dude.
That's appropriate. On purpose because he couldn't afford lighting.
No, I think he wanted you not. I think he wanted you to feel like him and not know where the fuck anyone was and where anything was.
I don't know. I think that's rationalization, man. That's right.
It was the mark of moral.
No, to me, it put me in the place of where I think the filmmaker wanted me, because I remember
that shit, late blue hour.
They
rushed the lighting, and it looked like shit because there was no lighting on it. It's just
there's another ending.
That's all there was.
Start talking too.
I remember seeing this in the theater, and dude, I was on the edge of my seat at the end of this movie, which is
I was like squinting at the end of this film. I just couldn't see shit.
Well, you got to turn off the lights in your house, dude. Turn off the lights in your house.
Generally, I do. Yes.
All men are created equal.
There's another ending to this
what the
movie.
Hell?
There's another ending to this movie where they get back together.
They all get AIDS and die.
No, they get back together.
This is post AIDS.
They get back together.
It's really retro.
The sneakers, Jim.
The two of them get back together, and then they go off together. And he decided to go with the slightly more ambiguous ending of him standing up and calling for him, and then nothing.
Yeah. After the inspector has been stabbed to death.
After Henri's had his throat slit and the inspector's been stabbed to death.
Sheila was watching this one with me, and when Henri was bleeding out from that thrash throat, she's like, "That looks real." And they did a good job on that.
Yeah, him like the squirting out of the neck is
that was good. That was some good makeup effects. I'll give you that.
Holy crap, that was good. And the inspector getting stabbed was so abrupt and shocking. It was really like, holy shit.
That's a prison style stabbing, like that. That was that. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
Well, this guy's not
do that under here. But
this guy's like a weird serial killer, dude. He's like a weird serial killer.
Yeah.
He's just like a
what is it?
Serial killer? Is he just?
What does that leave us at the end of the film? This guy is this crazy bastard who's going to kill everyone.
It leaves us in the south of France.
Yeah, I just
hiding in the bushes, waiting for the guy to come out.
Hiding in the bushes with the other guys.
If you're trying to say something about the gay community, it didn't say anything good about it. That's for sure.
I don't know what the end. I'm with Scott. Like at the end of the day, I don't know what this movie is about. Like,
what do you think of the ending?
Like at a certain level, it's a similar theme to the last movie we watched, which is there's a character who's going to allow a bad guy to go unpunished because he's hot. Like he watched him murder his ex-lover,
murder his friend.
Into this guy, 100%.
He saw him murder his friend and the cop. He saw it all.
Right.
The cop from the previous movie too, which is like really bad.
Right.
Right. He made it all the way from 69.
I know, right? And it's like he was probably close to retirement.
To follow, but to follow that.
God damn it.
And he was
Go ahead,
married
Chris.
to
Go ahead, Chris.
Tuesday Weld.
I was like,
I
Go
was
ahead,
going
Chris.
to retire next week.
they cut out that part. He's talking to his partner. Oh man, there's a week to go. I'm ready to go and just go to the south of France.
Riggs!
Yeah.
So, Chris, what did you think of the ending? With
Well, again, I mean, like, that's the okay. Well, I guess that's one way to do this. Like,
it made me mad, and the more I thought about it,
I think it's a borderline cop out.
I thought me too. I thought it was a cop out, but as I spent days thinking about it, I was like, you know what? It's kind of the best. It's what he deserves, is to be scared to death, standing in the bushes, waiting for that guy to either pop out and kill him or pop out and not kill him. I mean, that's worse.
Pop out and kill him, or
Because
pop out and fuck
honestly,
him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tad nailed it. He's going to pop out and embrace him and kiss him, or he's going to pop out and kill him.
It's like
Or both.
remember the movie?
And you don't know. Yeah, maybe, and not in that order. I don't know.
Remember the movie? Remember? Oh,
Told the cop,
hold on.
I saw the murder. This is the guy that did it.
Yeah.
Like, go get him.
Remember Halloween, the original Halloween? Imagine if it ended 10 minutes early, where Jamie Lee Curtis is in the hallway, like looking around. Oh my God! Then the film just goes to black at that point. That's not a bad way to end a film in some ways. It's like,
yeah, I mean, the fact that we're so into it, it seems collectively like I think it says something about the filmmaking. I think this is a thriller first and foremost before it's anything else. So that's
and some gay porn, but yeah, okay.
Just in La Piscine, I was really like, what's going to happen? There was a question in this movie, and I was really.
I started this movie really late, and I was completely like, it wasn't like I'm going to fall asleep 3/4 of the way. No, I was like,
no,
like,
it grabs you.
This film is tight, which is nice. It actually, there's not a lot of and coming back to that parking lot over and over again, it gives you a nice feeling timing of the film.
Henri is such a.
It's 10 days and is very obviously split.
Yeah, I like that bit. It's
my question.
It's very well delineated. Yeah.
Here's my question. So we all remember the mid '90s, where like in the wake of Basic Instinct, there was a whole bunch of erotic thrillers that came out.
Jade and like
most of which
Sliver and shit. Yeah,
like Sliver, the thing with Madonna.
They'll have Sharon Stone in them at some point.
Body of Evidence, blah 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 blah. So I get it. Like this is a version. This movie is way more explicit than any of those movies were.
This is an art house version, though.
Well, but again, this movie goes places that those movies couldn't go because they were studio pictures with big stars that needed to get an R rating. I wondered, is the explicitness necessary? And I've read a few think pieces about this movie, which were it's absolutely necessary, because again, maybe for the audience that this was ultimately aimed at, like the titillation is part of the connective tissue, which kind of explains why that character was willing to let shit slide.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even necessarily say titillation, but I would say the transgressiveness is necessary. Sure.
But at one point he says, I think I'm falling in love. And I think that's like almost
after you watch him
that's
murder
almost
a guy.
enough. I think that's enough in a lot of ways.
Well, he's drawn to the bad guy quality.
Well, you know, this is a French gay version, a low budget gay version of Play Misty for Me, right?
Sure, a little bit.
Okay.
No, for sure.
All right, good enough.
I just like
Not The Shape of Water.
You could have done an R-rated
Maybe The Shape of Water. No, it's not. No.
Yeah.
There's no one fucks a fish in this.
I like that, Chris. No,
just as effective, maybe. I don't know.
No, I think you're right, Chris. I think an R-rated version of this would not hit as hard. It wouldn't be as captivating, and it wouldn't be as memorable, because I think that
give you memory.
Like, this is French, obviously. I'm running into this right now, trying to do my movie in a couple of months. There's something weird about America. Just our culture is so fucking puritanical in a weird way with like entertainment and movies, and we don't want to like do. And it's like when you do something like this, it's so visceral, it's so real, it's so raw. It's transgressive. It's in your face. Yeah. And you go, oh shit. And you realize, you know what? Hey, that's real life though. Right. And this is a cult. This is a subculture in our real world that exists. and that happens, and it's showing us it.
Well,
like
a cruising
raw.
spot would have you walking through the woods and see a guy coming on his stomach because he didn't want to have sex without a condom. Like that is something you would see. Like it
exactly.
It does make that side of it more realistic.
But it also makes the movie.
It makes it a better movie.
I think it makes it a more powerful movie. Whether it's better or not, that's subjective. I think it makes it more powerful.
I recently rewatched the Friedkin cruising movie with Pacino.
Oh wow!
Like within the last.
That was 80, right? Thereabouts.
Yeah, it's like 80. Yeah, and it definitely doesn't go anywhere
Which
near.
Is essentially pre-AIDS.
Where this movie does, it should have.
Yeah, no, this is. I'm gonna. The film crit cap here is that this is we were talking about the story about cultural differences between like this film and American movies. In this film, in relationship to the bodies, this film shows men and their bodies the way that men use their bodies, especially gay.
Yes,
it's for sex.
Oh, dude, how about that? We all know this part I'm talking about. But when he stands up,
the second part I was going to say was that American films, because they're so repressed. You see, like a Marvel movie, everybody's got gorgeous, fantastic, unnaturally beautiful bodies, but it's only used for violence. You know, every DC and Marvel character is dead from the waist down. This is the opposite of that.
Right.
Well, and I'm sure you all know the part I'm talking about, but there's just like one scene where Frank, just before he sits down, he strips naked and he just cups the bottom of his balls super quick, like we probably all have, and pulls it out real, like just gives it a little up, and then he sits down to get it out of the way real quick.
You don't want to burn him.
And I was like,
that's
and I was like, that's one of the most realistic things I've ever seen in my life. That is so fucking real.
I was like, oh yeah, you got to get him out of the way so it sit on him.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, it's something about the French, because in the first one, in the swimming pool, some of the swimming scenes looked so realistic because you never see them in an American movie where they come out of the water and there's like snot and they're trying.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they all have terrible helmet hair.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, because I pulled this out early, I'm just going to go back to
it out.
This fucking guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the same guy. Like I said, we know it's the same guy. It's fine.
Effective police inspector in the history of fucking movies.
Yeah. I know.
Well, he knew but he wasn't stupid. He knew
he both know that he's done it.
Yes.
He already knows. He knows what's up. He's actually very smart. He's just
he literally walks around with his hands behind his back like he's some kind of fucking chicken. Like
no, I think this is what I love about this is what I love about these kinds of movies. They already know and they're smarter than you, but they're pretending like, hey, everything's good. They disarm. No, what they're doing is it's the opposite of America. They disarm their suspect or the person that they know to be guilty by not being aggressive toward them.
That's why everyone likes Benoit Blanc.
Behind deserves to get murdered.
No, it's what you call in screenwriting. He's an agentic presence. Means he shows up, meaning he is the force of our collective law. I'm going to here to inspect a murder both times, and he's not going to be effective at all because he doesn't have to be. All he has to do is he represents morality coming back into this thing. Like we're going to figure out what to get to the bottom of this thing, and we him getting stabbed at the end of
How does that work out for morality?
It doesn't. In the first film. It doesn't. In the second film, it doesn't either. As I'm saying, that's a great thing about this is that he's just there as a symbol. You know, he's a detective, but he's completely gormless. He has no effect at all whatsoever.
Both the cop and
I love Henri. I love Henri.
And the jerking off lawyer guy.
Henri is the secret.
I agree.
This guy is great.
You know,
there's something about how he rests his forearms on his belly and like rubs his like. There's something about he's just what a character. What a performance.
I want to have a beer with that guy. Basically, you know, it's
dude,
like,
he's amazing.
I will say, and I think this is entirely to the credit of the filmmaker. I was really bummed out when they have that conversation where he's like, "Oh, what? You don't have a girlfriend? Like, you don't have a wife? Like." That kind of thing, because he's so fucked up in his head.
But he did. See, he's like a bisexual. He had a wife and a family.
I don't think he's a bisexual. I think he is a gay man who cannot accept
Oh,
that
maybe.
gay.
He doesn't want to jump in both feet, basically.
Well, and he talks about like he met that guy out when they were logging, and he's like, I didn't know a man could make love like that.
Yeah,
and
that was a good story.
It's such a sad character, and this, all of the characters besides Michelle in this movie are based on people the director actually knew.
Oh yeah,
coming up as a young gay man.
I'm assuming Frank is probably based on himself.
Do you think that? No, I'm going to actually argue that Henri is the secret owner of the film. Henri is the director,
Frank is based on him.
Well, Frank, you can have a protagonist who is actually not the owner of the film.
No, I
thought Henri was the owner of the film because he observed everything, he knew everything, he warned him.
But he's not. He's not the director.
But I thought he was the moral center of the film.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. You're right about.
That's what I mean by owner. That's what I mean. It's like the person.
But you said the director anyway.
Yeah.
You're right about that. He is the moral center of the movie.
Yeah, right.
But the Frank character is the director speaking for himself.
Probably.
Sure.
And I feel like the Frank character and the director wanted an Henri in his life who could say, "Don't go with this guy. He's bad."
Yeah, well, and they were immediately. It's such a wonderful depiction of friendship. They were immediately taken with each other and friends. Right. And honest.
You have those moments in life where you meet someone and you just have this deeply like intimate connection with someone who you're not sexually attracted to, but you just you have these vulnerable moments with someone, and like the vulnerability that the two of them share with each other. And when Frank is like, "Do you mind if I get naked?" and he's like, "No, that's what everyone's here for." It's like, I'm not going to get naked because that's not what I do, but like, I don't have a problem with you doing that. There's a vulnerability to that interaction that he never has with Michelle. Like, Michelle is sex first. He's leading with his dick, and
but I want to go.
I love the Henri character so much in this.
Yeah,
he is one of the best.
He got there, he's like, "I'm gonna go. Sorry, I'll come back. I'm gonna go say hi to him first."
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, did you meet?"
Which is also the very male thing. And I want to go back to what Chris
understands it and is very much like, "Hey, did that work out for you?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I think Chris, you sort of said this early on, but I think it's worth reiterating, is that this is a film that does show the male body in a way that I've never ever seen it depicted in film before.
It's male gaze on men, which you don't get in movies.
I probably saw
but also it switches. It goes from like objective to subject. It's both male gaze and both objective gaze. Like
zucchinis, man.
No. I saw more zucchinis in this film I've seen in 55 years of watching movies in one film.
You don't watch nearly enough porn,
and that includes all the porn I've seen. This is topped out, man.
We've alternately praised and denigrated the film, the visual style or filmmaking going here, but I just want to say there are a lot of angles that you could shoot naked men laying on a beach from, but the one this filmmaker likes is right up the barrel, ground level.
Right up the barrel is
again.
That is your undying.
Right up the barrel, male gaze on male bodies.
But I also think he's not trying to. But I think I love that you mentioned that, John, because
to you,
but it's also like not trying to be like whatever you would call like Hollywood flattering or photography flattering. It's trying to do, because he could do that. These guys are gorgeous. He could shoot them
in that way. He would have profiles and showed their muscle.
No, he could go up high and shoot down, and but he doesn't want to do that.
I can't cut this film because YouTube will not show it if I actually cut it the way.
But that's
right.
That is trying to bring the Hollywood lens to this, and what this movie is doing is this movie is showing these people as sexual objects. Like again, it's the male gaze on men,
but it's not romanticizing it in a way that
again it is sexualizing them. Yeah. It is sexualizing them in a way that we never see men portrayed on film.
And I think that but one of the beautiful things about this movie is you feel that everyone involved the director, the actors, the story, that sexualization is exactly okay with them. Like they want that.
Casting call for this, they specifically said you will be naked for most of the movie, and they got very few people, but the people who showed up were willing to be shot like that. And I think that's like I don't like this movie at the bottom. Like I didn't really enjoy it. But like there's certain things about it that I think are really interesting and important, and like the allowing of men to be sexualized in that way that we never see in other movies is so
extremely
good.
True. It's like
so good.
It is its own subculture, and we are just visiting it. It's kind of like we're aliens visiting the kind of thing. And it's like, it's great because, you don't see it. You don't seek it out. And
but I also think it's a very, like Chris said, he started late. I think it's an effective thriller. You get sucked in at some point.
Yeah, that's where I think it falls apart is I never felt that tension.
But this is this is the #1 film on Cahiers du Cinema in 2013. #1.
Wait, what?
Cahiers du Cinema's #1 pick that year in 2013 when it came out was this film.
Really?
So it was well regarded in France.
That's another thing about this movie is it doesn't feel like it's from 2013. It feels like it's from 1998.
Oh yeah,
I think it's got nostalgic. It's got a nostalgic vibe. I think
it feels pre-AIDS in some ways.
No, I think it feels post-AIDS but pre 9/11. Like it feels it. I feel like after 9/11, we had this sort of like universal danger.
But that could be the Hitchcockian touch as well, which is
sure.
All right.
I'm not saying that as a bad thing either. Like it's just it feels out of time.
Also, two things.
Well, but it is nostalgic, Jim, because it's about the director as a young person.
Yeah, well,
why it has that kind
trying
of
to move it into the past.
That disconnected, no cell phones feel to it in some ways.
Yeah,
well, and AIDS
and the older cars too.
AIDS didn't
the older cars too, Jim. Yeah.
AIDS didn't hit Western Europe as hard as it hit America.
I think what we're discovering though, I love movies like this where it feels honestly, this movie feels timeless because
you're right.
They don't do cell phones. The cars are very old.
Also, Frank's car has a very distinctive diesel sound. Blah, 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 blah.
And the clothing doesn't suggest a certain anything.
What clothing there is.
Exactly.
I aspire.
I still want to know where his shoes are.
True.
Yeah, I caught that too. Only one scene. But I aspire to make a movie like this because I hate movies that date themselves like visually in terms of like like you see a movie from the 93 now and they have a cell phone and it's like this fucking big. You're
because this was shot in nature, you don't get that at all.
Right. This place in France probably looked like this 3 billion years
ago. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
They're massive
not
around
for the huge hydroelectric dam.
Two things before we go to cars.
Yeah, but you can't see it.
Two things before we go to cars. First of all, one thing about
it looks like an artificial
reservoir.
I'm looking behind Tad. I'm looking behind Tad. It looks like the world's most uncomfortable beach.
Yeah.
Do you think that was
that water looked pretty great when they're swimming in it?
Do you think it was on purpose? Do you think it was kind of like a beach no one else would use?
Yes, because they're on the opposite side of the beach
where all the resorts are.
Second of all,
the queers get this beach, and the normal people get the other side.
That came up because it was like that beach. They're picking through rocks. It was like really bad in terms of like as a quality of a beach. It was not.
That's why they'll have their sneakers on.
Well,
for the most part,
and because Henri chooses to sit on the rocks.
Yes, he sits as far away from everyone else on the rock.
He's on the other. He's
also the only person who doesn't have a car.
That's true.
Well, because I think Henri lives like literally around.
He
walks
the walk. He can walk to his house.
As far as we know,
he's basically like the American version of this would be like he's a commercial fisherman, right?
Yeah,
like he's a
lumberjack.
I literally think he walks to his house every evening.
Yeah. Right, but he's a guy who is gone for most of the year.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't matter if he's a car, it doesn't matter where he lives. Like but he found out there was this cruising spot where at least he could feel like himself.
Right.
Like even if he's not participating in,
he's at peace inside and out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We're going to cards. These are both very long episodes, so They are.
Oh, you just cut out everything.
I liked it.
You know what? I started out like I was going to criticize it. Actually, this discussion, one of those ones that turned me around. Yeah, it's like this.
I wish I liked this movie more. That's.
I liked it.